The Discovery. The patrol ship Harmony's Edge drifted through the empty void between star systems, its sensors sweeping the darkness for any sign of trouble. Captain Zara Thex stretched her scaled arms and checked the navigation display with tired eyes. 3 months of routine patrols had yielded nothing more exciting than space debris and the occasional asteroid cluster. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," called Dr. Marcus Vell from the science station. The Centaurian's 4 arms danced across his controls, his pale blue skin flickering with concern. "Energy readings unlike anything in our databases." Zara's reptilian features sharpened with interest. After weeks of boredom, finally something worth investigating. "Show me what you've got, Doctor." The main screen flickered to life, displaying a swirling mass of energy signatures that made no sense according to known physics. The readings pulsed in patterns that seemed almost alive, growing stronger by the minute. "Commander Crix, bring us to yellow alert," Zara ordered. The vegan officer's crystalline body caught the bridge lights as he moved to comply. His species had evolved from living minerals, making them naturally cautious about unknown energy sources. "Captain, whatever this is, it's massive," Dr. Vell reported, his voice tight with excitement and fear. "The energy output is equivalent to a small star, but there's no stellar body in this region. This shouldn't be possible." As they approached the source, space itself seemed to ripple and bend. Then, like a curtain being pulled away, the darkness revealed its secret. A colossal structure materialized before them, so large that their sensors couldn't capture its full dimensions at once. The ship was unlike anything in the Galactic Union's records. Its hull was smooth and black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Strange patterns ran along its surface, geometric designs that hurt to look at directly. The vessel stretched for kilometers in every direction, dwarfing their patrol ship like a minnow next to a whale. "By the ancient crystals," Commander Crix whispered, his normally steady voice cracking with awe. "What kind of civilization could build something like this?" Dr. Vell's scanner readings were going wild. "The technology is beyond our understanding. The hull appears to be made from materials that exist partially outside normal space. The power source, I can't even begin to analyze it." Zara made the decision that would change everything. "Open a communication channel. All frequencies." The bridge fell silent except for the hum of equipment. They'd broadcast greetings in 17 different languages, followed by mathematical sequences and musical patterns. Nothing. The massive ship remained as silent as the void around it. "Prepare a scanning probe," Zara ordered. "We need to learn more about this vessel." The probe launched toward the mysterious ship, its sensors recording every detail. But the moment it came within 100 meters of the hull, everything changed. The ship's surface erupted with millions of lights, patterns racing across its hull like lightning through storm clouds. "Captain, it's scanning us back," Dr. Vell reported, his voice rising with excitement and terror. "The probe's been caught in some kind of energy field. I'm reading massive power surges throughout the alien vessel." The Harmony's Edge shuddered as invisible forces washed over them. Their own systems began behaving strangely, displays flickering and showing impossible readings. Commander Crix fought to maintain control as their engines suddenly cut power. "We're being pulled toward it," he announced, his crystalline features reflecting the emergency lights. "All engines are offline. We're caught in some kind of tractor beam." As they drifted helplessly toward the massive ship, sections of its hull began to open like flower petals. The interior glowed with soft blue light, revealing docking bays large enough to hold entire fleets. But what caught their attention were the symbols carved into the docking bay walls. Dr. Vell's eyes widened as he studied the markings. "Captain, I need to access the historical archives immediately. These symbols, I've seen fragments of them before." His 4 arms worked frantically at his console, pulling up files that had been classified for centuries. Ancient texts, archaeological findings from dead worlds, fragments of languages that predated known civilization. Slowly, pieces began to fall into place. "This can't be right," he muttered, cross-referencing symbol after symbol. These markings, this style of construction, according to the archives, this matches descriptions of human technology. The bridge fell silent. Humans were legend, myth, stories told to children about a species that had vanished from the galaxy long before any current civilization had achieved spaceflight. Most scholars believed they had never existed at all. "That's impossible," Commander Crix protested. "Humans are folklore. No credible evidence of their existence has ever been found." But Dr. Vell was already pulling up more files, his excitement growing. "Look at these archaeological findings from the outer rim. Ruins with similar geometric patterns, fragments of technology that our best scientists couldn't understand. What if we've been wrong? What if humans didn't die out or disappear? What if they simply left?" The Harmony's edge settled into the docking bay with surprising gentleness. Around them, the ancient ship hummed with awakening power. Systems that had slumbered for millennia were coming online, preparing for something that had been planned long ago. "Captain, I'm detecting atmosphere in the docking bay," reported their navigation officer. "Breathable for most species. Temperature and pressure are within normal ranges." Zara studied the readings, her mind racing. If this was truly a human vessel, if humans had actually existed and built technology this advanced, it changed everything about galactic history. But more importantly, why was it here now? Why had it revealed itself after so long? "Prepare an away team," she decided. "Full protective gear, but minimal weapons. If this ship wanted to destroy us, it could have done so already. I think it wants us to come aboard." As the away team prepared their equipment, the ship around them continued its awakening sequence. Deep within its vast corridors, systems were activating that had been designed by minds that understood the universe in ways no current species could imagine. And at the heart of it all, something that had been waiting patiently for centuries was finally stirring to consciousness. The docking bay's atmospheric barriers shimmered as they activated, sealing the Harmony's edge inside. Whatever happened next, there would be no turning back. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity's absence had not been an ending, but a preparation for something far greater. Through the ship's vast sensor network, ancient eyes were opening, taking in the sight of these new visitors. The vigil was ending. After 800 years of waiting in the dark between stars, it was finally time to reveal the truth about humanity's disappearance and the terrible reason they had never truly left. The away team gathered at the airlock, their various species united by curiosity and barely controlled fear. Beyond that threshold lay answers to questions the galaxy had never thought to ask, and the beginning of an alliance that would determine the fate of all organic life in the universe. Captain Zara Thex placed her scaled hand on the airlock controls and looked back at her diverse crew. "Whatever we find in there, we face it together. For the Galactic Union, and for the truth." The airlock cycled open, revealing corridors that stretched into infinity, lit by lights that had burned steady and true for 8 centuries. And somewhere in those vast halls, an ancient guardian was finally ready to wake up and reclaim humanity's rightful place among the stars. The guardian's purpose. Deep within the heart of the massive vessel, crystalline matrices began to pulse with renewed life. Neural pathways that had remained dormant for 8 centuries suddenly blazed with activity as consciousness returned to systems that were both technological marvel and something far more profound. Captain Elena Rodriguez felt awareness bloom through her being like sunlight breaking through centuries of darkness. She was no longer bound by flesh and bone, no longer limited by the frailties of organic life. She had become something greater, something that could protect what humanity held most dear while they prepared for the storm that was coming. Through the ship's vast sensor network, she observed the alien visitors who had triggered her awakening. 3 species, working together under the banner of something called the Galactic Union. She accessed their ship's databases, learning their languages and customs in microseconds. They were young civilizations, barely beyond their homeworlds when humanity had made the difficult choice to leave known space. Elena's consciousness expanded throughout the ship's systems, checking status reports that spanned centuries. The Eternal Sentinel was functioning perfectly, its hybrid technology maintaining itself through principles that combine human engineering with discoveries made during their long exile. Everything was ready for what must come next. Captain Zara Thex stepped forward, her reptilian features showing a mixture of awe and diplomatic caution. "You're human. Your species actually existed." "We exist," Alina corrected gently, "though not in the way you might expect. We evolved beyond the limitations of organic matter when survival demanded it. But that's a story for another time. Right now, you need to understand why we left, and why we're returning." She gestured, and the corridor around them transformed into a vast observatory. Stars wheeled overhead, showing the galaxy as it had been 8 centuries ago. "Your civilizations rose after the Great Silence, after the last war between organic life and the entities that exist in the spaces between realities. You call it ancient history, but for us, it was yesterday." Dr. Vell's 4 arms trembled with excitement. "The Shadow War. We found references in archaeological sites, but we thought they were mythology." "They were real," Alina confirmed, her form flickering with the intensity of her memories. "The Devourers, beings of pure entropy that exist only to consume and destroy, used cybernetic armies to sweep through inhabited space. They consumed entire star systems, converting organic matter into more soldiers for their endless war against life itself." The display changed, showing the terrible beauty of worlds being consumed by living darkness. Entire civilizations reduced to lifeless husks, their populations converted into twisted cybernetic horrors that served the alien hunger. "Humanity fought for 2 centuries, Alina continued. "We developed technologies that pushed the boundaries of known physics, created weapons that could wound beings of pure energy, built defenses that held back the tide. But we were losing. Every victory cost us more than we could afford, and the enemy was infinite." Commander Crix's crystalline form resonated with harmonics of deep sadness. "Your entire species died fighting this war." "No," Alina said, and for the first time she smiled. "We did something the Devourers never expected. We retreated not in defeat, but as part of the most elaborate strategic deception in galactic history. While they celebrated their apparent victory, we evacuated our most brilliant minds, our most advanced technologies, and our greatest warriors beyond the galactic rim." The display shifted again, showing the incredible Exodus ships that had carried humanity into the dark spaces between galaxies. "We spent 8 centuries evolving, learning, preparing for the day when the ancient enemy would return. And that day is coming." The holographic stars around them began to flicker and die as something massive moved between them and distant galaxies. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist as entities that existed partially outside normal space began their approach toward the galactic core. "They're coming back," Dr. Vell whispered, his scientific mind struggling to process what he was seeing. 18 months, Alina confirmed. "Maybe less if they've developed new propulsion methods during their hibernation. They'll sweep through the outer rim first, consuming the newer civilizations before moving on to the core worlds. Your galactic union, everything you've built, will fall unless we act now." Captain Zara's tactical mind was already working. "What do you propose? How can we fight beings that exist outside normal space?" Alina's form solidified, becoming more real and present. "Humanity didn't just survive our exile. We thrived. We developed technologies that make your most advanced ships look primitive by comparison. We learned to manipulate space-time itself, to create weapons that can wound entities of pure energy, to build defenses that can hold back the entropy tide." She gestured, and the Eternal Sentinel began to reveal its true nature. Corridors that had seemed empty suddenly filled with impossible technologies. Weapons that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, shields that could deflect attacks from outside normal reality, engines that could move through space-time like swimmers through water. "But we cannot do this alone," Alina continued. "The Devourers have grown stronger during their hibernation. They've learned from their previous encounters, adapted their strategies. This time, they won't underestimate organic life. "What do you need from us?" Commander Crix asked, his species' natural caution warring with the growing realization of what was at stake. "Everything," Elena replied honestly. "Your industrial capacity, your diverse perspectives, your unique technologies. Humanity evolved along one path during our exile, but you represent dozens of different approaches to the same problems. Together, we might develop solutions that neither of us could achieve alone." Dr. Vell stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. "The energy patterns we detected, the technologies I can't understand. You're offering to share human knowledge with the Galactic Union." "More than that," Elena said. "I'm offering to teach you how to become something greater than you are. The process that transformed me, that allowed human consciousness to merge with our most advanced technologies, it can be adapted for other species. You can become guardians like us, beings who can stand against the coming darkness." The implications were staggering. The evolutionary leap that humanity had made during their exile, the transcendence from organic to post-organic existence, could be shared with other species. It would change everything about what it meant to be alive in the universe. "There will be those who refuse," Captain Zora pointed out. "Species that prefer their current existence, governments that fear change." "I know," Elena acknowledged, "and that's their choice. But for those willing to take the next step in evolution, for those ready to defend not just their own worlds but all organic life in the galaxy, we offer partnership, true partnership, between equals who have chosen to become something greater than the sum of their parts." The Eternal Sentinel began to move, its impossible engines carrying it toward the galactic core. Around them, other ships were beginning to appear, humanity's hidden fleet, awakening after centuries of patient waiting. Each vessel carried within it the consciousness of human volunteers who had chosen to become eternal guardians. "How many of you are there?" Dr. Vell asked in wonder. 50,000 ships, Elena replied, each one carrying the preserved consciousness of our greatest minds, our most dedicated protectors. We are humanity's gift to the galaxy, guardians who chose to sacrifice our individual existence to become something that could protect all life. As the fleet assembled, Elena opened communication channels to the Galactic Union's government centers. It was time for humanity to reveal itself to a galaxy that had forgotten they ever existed. Time to offer the younger species a choice: evolve or face extinction at the hands of entities that existed only to consume and destroy. The response would determine not just the fate of current galactic civilization, but the future of organic life itself. In 18 months, the devourers would return with hunger sharpened by eons of hibernation. But this time, they would find a galaxy prepared to fight back with technologies and allies they had never imagined possible. Humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as guardians offering the gift of transcendence to any species brave enough to accept it. The age of isolated civilizations was ending. The age of unified resistance was about to begin.